Christ's Righteous Rule is the title of our message, taken from Isaiah chapter 51. And we have two thoughts: turn to the Lord, and verse 1 to 11, and find comfort in the Lord, verse 12 to 23. Our Lord here now addresses the godly in the nation, turning from the godless, which we saw in Isaiah chapter 50, who chose not the Lord. And with three commands, he says to his people, hearken unto me, in verse 1, verse 4, and verse 7. Who are these whom the prophet was speaking to? Well, in verse 1 we are told, those that follow after righteousness. They are my people, verse 4 says. And in verse 7, the people in whose heart is my law. He's speaking to the people of God. He's the righteous Lord who formed his people and raised up the nation of Israel. His people are to look to him for guidance and salvation and comfort in times of chastisement. Turn to the Lord is the thought given here. Hearken unto me, verse 1. Ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, and to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Here we are given the people of God to look to the Lord, who is the rock. It is from him that we have our being. And here the imagery that is given is the rock being the Lord, and out of him we have our being. Look unto the rock wherein ye are hewn, from which you come from, to the hole of the pit whence ye are digged. Look unto Abraham your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. Here the people of God are called to find strength in the example, in the faith of their forefathers. And the nation of Israel began with Abraham and his wife Sarah. How they had faith to trust the Lord, to leave the Ur of the Chaldees, where was their home, and to go to a foreign land to serve the Lord. They had faith in God, and they trusted the Lord when the Lord called them out. And here we are told how the Lord blessed Abraham and how the Lord increased him when they in faith were hearkened to the voice of God, following him each step of the way. Indeed, there is comfort for the people of God when we remember the examples of godly men who walked with God in their lifetime. They set for us an example. Last week, we were on our Reformation tour, whereby we had the opportunity to review the life of many of the reformers who began to by the Lord opening their eyes to the truth, and they sticking fast to the truth, to obey Him and to walk with Him and to serve Him in their lifetime amidst great peril, amidst great danger to their life. They did not care their life. They had the opportunity to be faithful to the Lord and His commandment. All in Israel who seek deliverance should remember God's care for them, since He took them from the rock, from Mesopotamia, where Abraham came from. He crossed the Fertile Crescent down to Israel, to Canaan, where the Lord would promise him that he would be given this land. And here Isaiah brings them to remember how the Lord had blessed Abraham and Sarah. The Lord said to them that they would have a multitude in their posterity. And in their lifetime, they did not truly see the multitude, but by faith they trusted the Lord that He would bless them in the future days. As we walk by faith, following the Lord, very often we cannot see what is ahead of us. The Lord simply shows us what is the next step as we seek Him and we take that step according to how He would direct us. We don't know what is the 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead, 4 steps ahead. The Lord shows us as He reveals to us each day as it opens. We realize that we do not have, as it were, a crystal ball of the future. Though we do have, the Lord does show us what the future will be. But we realize that on a daily basis, we have to look to Him for guidance, look to Him for strength. And verse 3 tells us, "For the Lord shall comfort Zion. He shall comfort all her waste, and He will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody." When we have the Lord with us, we're even in the wilderness, you realize that that is the best place that we can be. When Israel was in the wilderness, it was there that they experienced the exquisite care of God for them. The Lord delivering them, the Lord feeding them, the Lord guiding them, showing them each step of the way. Although they were in the midst of barren land, they were in the midst of danger all the time, and yet the Lord preserved them. For 40 years, their shoes were never worn. The Lord undergirded them so that they walk in safety. And so Isaiah says, the people who trust in the Lord can find comfort in whatever circumstances that they will be in. Of course, Isaiah was alluding to the fact that Israel will be chastised by the Lord. The Lord will send the Babylonians against them. And later on in their history, the Lord will send the Romans against them. The Babylonians would totally destroy them. The Romans too will totally annihilate them. And what happens in times of calamity for the people of God? It seemed that there is no way out. Well, here Isaiah gives the word of comfort to his people who trust in him, that they are not alone, but the Lord is with them, whatever the circumstances that they may be in. And so the Lord, through Isaiah, gives the words of comfort. Though they were in wasteland, he will make her wilderness like Eden. Eden is the original paradise in which God created before Adam and Eve fell. Very beautiful. It was a place of peace, and it was a place of tranquility, and it was a place where there was peace. Indeed, when we have the Lord with us, the most dangerous place is a place of safety when you have the Lord with you. And this is what Isaiah is speaking to his people, that with the Lord nigh unto us, he will make the wilderness like Eden, and the desert like the garden of the Lord. Did not God send the quails? Did he not send the manna from heaven to clothe them? And joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. When we have the Lord with us and we are walking in the will of God, we are able to sing, we are able to thank God, we are able to have a voice of melody because we know that we are walking in the way of God. Just as Paul and Silas and Timothy, when they were in the prison in Philippi, they were just been whipped and they had bruises all over, and yet in the jail room they were able to communicate the joy of their heart of being in the center of God's will, doing the will of God. They knew that God was doing something, though they were suffering. And what was God doing? Well, he will send an earthquake, and he will open the doors of the prison, so that the prison keeper, through that incident, would be saved together with his entire family. So although they were in incarceration, they were not perturbed. They knew what they were doing. They knew what the Lord was doing through them, and they were comforted in those times. We can thank God, isn't it? Wherever we are, when we are walking in the will of God, when we are in communion with the Lord, is there anything that the Lord cannot foresee? Any danger that he cannot warn us of, that he cannot protect us from? There is none, isn't it? And so when we have the Lord with us, we are thankful that indeed when the people of God have him with us to take care of us, we are in good hands. He is able to take care of them. And this is the experience of Abraham, the founder of their nation, that indeed throughout his lifetime, the Lord was with them. Even in those times when he failed the Lord. You remember Abraham lied when he went down to Egypt so that Pharaoh would want to take his wife, Sarah, mistaken that Sarah was his sister. But the Lord intervened. A plague came, and the Lord was able to deliver him. Those times when he took a misstep, even a wrong step. For the people of God, God knows where we are going, and He directs our paths. Verse 4. Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, all my nation. So, from an individual, the Lord has raised for Israel a nation. From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob to the 12 tribes, 12 sons, and from there into Egypt to raise a multitude of people. Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, all my nation. For a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. It was in the wilderness that the Lord would give to Israel His law. There at Mount Sinai, the Lord would show them the light, the way by which they are to live, the way by which they are to conduct themselves. The law as a light for the people. And when we have the law of God, He shows us the way by which we should live, how we ought to live. And when we have Him with us, when we have the law of God with us, that's where we realize how weak we are. That's where we realize how we need the Lord, for we cannot keep the law. My righteousness is near, verse 5 says, my salvation is gone forth, and my arm shall judge the people. The owls shall wait upon me, and on my arm shall they trust. Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment, and they that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. In verse 4 to 6, we may be able to read and see that the Lord who gave the law will establish His law amongst the nations. The Lord, through His Messiah, Christ, will rule over all people. Here we are told that in verse 5, that the owls shall wait upon me, and on my arms shall they trust. That the Lord will be the righteous judge and ruler over the people in the furthest islands across the sea. Here we speak of the Lord ruling over not just Israel, but of the Gentile nations in the future. And here we see that the Lord is the one that brings salvation to His people. God calls upon His people to hearken to Him with the assurance that He would extend the truth, the true religion, even to the Gentile world, and that His salvation would be more permanent than, as it were, the heavens that is before us. And He would make His truth a light, not just to the Jews, but to the Gentiles also. He would extend that light to the owls, to the pagan world, and it should be everlasting. Today, we are seeing that light going forth through His church. God extending His righteousness through the preaching of the gospel, through the preaching of His truth, so that men and women may find salvation. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth. The preaching of the gospel that goes forth shall be the way by which fallen man can be saved. My salvation is gone forth. My arms shall judge the people. The owls shall wait upon me, and on my arm shall they trust. The people would come to see that this is the way by which they may be saved. This is the way by which their sins would be dealt with. That it is through Christ, the Messiah, who would save them and who would secure them eternally. And verse 6 tells us, lift up your eyes to the heavens, look upon the earth beneath, for the heavens shall vanish away like a smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment. They that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But my salvation will be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. Those who trust in the Lord for His righteousness and has His righteousness given to us, they will exist beyond this earth, beyond this heaven, and beyond this heaven and this earth. The Lord preserves His own, preserves His people. This earth that we are living in is a place that is prepared or ready for destruction. If you look at the Chinese word for calamity or disaster, you have the water and the fire. The water and the fire. To describe calamity, indeed the first great calamity was the global flood, in which all the earth was destroyed. Only Noah and his family of 8 were preserved. But the final destruction will be by fire. The earth and the heaven that we live, that we know now, shall soon pass away. Only those who has the righteousness which is of Christ shall be able to withstand the calamity that is to come and to be able to live forever. My salvation shall be forever, and my righteousness shall not be abolished. When we have the Lord with us, we will not vanish away, even when the heavens and the earth shall vanish like a smoke, and the earth shall wax old like a garment. They that dwell therein shall die in like manner. But the people of God who trust in the Lord, their salvation shall be forever. My righteousness shall not be abolished. He tells them that all who have the Lord with them to care for them, they would be properly taken care of. The Lord will be with them to help them. The Lord will be with them to fend for them. And we can trust the Lord to take care of us. Verse 7. Hearken unto me, all ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revilings. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the worm shall eat them like a wool. But my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation. The people of God can trust the Lord to take care of them, not just for themselves, but for their posterity. Hearken unto me, ye that know righteousness, the way by which to make right with God. The people in whose heart is my law, the people who have been made righteous by Christ, who come to Christ for salvation, they shall live forever. Our garments, you buy your garment, and the garment that you have, soon, after a while, with time, begin to wear out. The things that you have, you realize that after one day, you look at it, wow, there's a coat of dust over it. And if you leave it for a month, you realize that it begins to eat up whatever that it lays itself upon. And you realize that the things of this world doesn't last, isn't it? They are corrupted, and they are prone to corruption. So the Lord says, "Come to me. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revilings." When we have the Lord with us to take care of us, and we have His laws to guide us, well, we are able, by the strength that God gives us, by the courage that He gives us, to follow Him, to walk with Him. So, when we were looking at the life of John Huss, his life was summarized by 3 statements at the place where was displayed concerning his life. He was someone with a courage of conviction. He was someone with the courage to obey the Lord, to follow the Lord, and finally he was burned at the stake. He died a terrible death. He did not fear the incarceration that would come upon him. "Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revilings." They understood the truth. That is the way of salvation. And they knew that this is the way by which we can find rest for our soul. And so they were willing to publicize it, to share it at the cost of their lives. They were not afraid of the reproach of men. They were not afraid of the threatenings of men, but they were courageous, whose heart is undergirded by the law of God. Verse 9, "Awake, awake, put on strength, O arm of the Lord, awake, as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Art thou not it that has cut Rahab?" Rahab refers to Egypt. "And wounded the dragon. Art thou not it which hath dried the sea and the waters of the great deep, and hath made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over?" So here the people of God are reminded of the deliverance that the Lord made for them at the Red Sea. Right? The Red Sea moment, we say. The great danger, great impasse. We must not forget that in the time of great impasse, we have a God of the impossible. We have a God who has the power to help us, and we can trust Him to do so. And the righteous of God's people are being reminded of how the nation came into its existence, how the nation was born. It was born out of adversity. They were in dire straits. They were chased by the enemy. Pharaoh was after them, and his chariots threatened to cut them off, but the Lord opened the sea. He dried the sea. The waters of the great deep, verse 10 tells us, and that has the depths of the sea, and has made the depths of the sea a way for the ransom to pass over. The people of God has the Lord to take care of us. And we can trust Him to take care of us. When the world seems to have collapsed around us, we must not buckle, seeing the calamity, but in those times, to trust in the Lord, that we have a God who is able to take care of us, even in the greatest of disasters, that we would keep close to Him, that we would trust in Him, for He will certainly not fail us in those moments of need. Do you believe with that? The history of Israel tells us that. The history of the church tells us that. And the people of God who serves Him has the same God fending for them, and therefore we can be assured that we are in good hands, that the Lord is able to help us. Verse 12. Verse 11. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return and come with singing unto Zion, and everlasting joy shall be upon their heads. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrowing and mourning shall flee away. With the Lord, when we turn to the Lord, when we come to the Lord, He's able to help us. He's able to show us the way ahead. And He gives to His people comfort. That's the thought given to us from verse 12 to 23. Finding comfort in the Lord. I, even I, am He that comforteth you. Who art thou? Shouldest be afraid of that thou, who art thou, that thou should be afraid of a man that shall die, and of the Son of Man which made us grass? Well, here we are told to be strong and not fear the faces of men. For men are frail creatures, like grass which fadeth away. Rather, forget not the Lord, fear the Lord, and forgettest the Lord thy Maker, that has stretched forth the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth, and has feared continually every day because of the fury of the oppressor, if he were ready to destroy. And where is the fury of the oppressor? The Lord can deliver. When He delivers, the enemy is taken down. Sometimes we wonder, and that as we go to the Lord in prayer, seeking for His help, we wonder when deliverance will come, when the Lord will show His hand mighty. And sometimes we become impatient, not realizing that He does so. Deliverance will come from Him, and it is according to His timing, according to His agenda. And as we wait upon Him, He will certainly deliver. And so when the Lord does deliver, we just marvel, isn't it? But during those times when we are facing the oppression of the enemy, we realize how oppressive the situation is, and how we seem to be pressed to a great corner, to a corner whereby we cannot move and we cannot breathe, as it were. But here the Lord tells us that He is able to help. the captive exile, verse 14, hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor his bread should fail. Isn't it so precarious when Joseph was thrown into the pit by his brothers and sold to the Carmelites, to the Midianites, to Egypt? It was a precarious time, and yet he was preserved of the Lord. The Lord took care of him during those days in which he was captive. The Lord was there for him. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread should fail. He was able to give the interpretation to the butler and to the baker concerning their end, and they forgot about him after one of them was delivered, and he was still there in prison. He said, "Hey, if I interpret for you, would you help me that I may get out of prison?" Indeed, he thought he would, after he rightly interpreted for the baker and the butler. The baker died, the butler was restored, but the butler forgot about him. Did the Lord forget him? The Lord did not forget him. The Lord will raise him from the dungeon to the palace at his time, isn't it? When God gave to Pharaoh the dream of the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of plenty that would come. And in that moment, the Lord would deliver him out of the prison. Did his bread fail while he was in prison? He did not fail. But I am the Lord thy God, verse 15, that divided the sea, whose wave roared. The Lord of hosts is his name, and I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people. Awake, awake, verse 17, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. Jerusalem will be destroyed, but will be restored again. The faithful of God's people are to trust him. Jeremiah the prophet was one of them. During the time of the Babylonians who came wanting to destroy them, what did Jeremiah say to the people? Submit yourselves to the Babylonians and you will be preserved. Those who rebelled, they all died. But Jeremiah did not rebel. He knew that they were to submit according to the will of the Lord to the Babylonians, and he did so. And the Lord preserved him. When the Babylonians took captive all the people, they asked him, you want to stay here or you want to go to Egypt? Where you would like to be? He was preserved. Even though there was calamity everywhere, the people of God who trust the Lord takes care of them. Even the time when destruction seems to be everywhere, there seems to be no hope. But if you are a child of God and you trust in the Lord, and He will take care of you, there is none to guide her among all the sons whom she has brought forth, neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up. These two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? Desolation and destruction and famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? Thy sons have fainted. they lie at the head of all the streets. As a wild bull in the net, they are full of fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. As a wild bull in a net, the wild bull is very, very strong. But it is caught in a net. It struggles, cannot get out. And yet with great force is trying to struggle, but cannot get out. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord. The Lord's judgment was upon Jerusalem. And they struggled, cannot get free, because the Lord's hand was upon them. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Lord, and thy God that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. We go through in life many, many trials. But a time will come when there will be no more trials. You have passed the test. You have completed your journey. And while we are here, there will be tests in front of us. There will be trials ahead of us. But the Lord will take care of us. But I will put into the hand of them that afflict thee, which thou hast said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, as the streets to them that went over. In the judgment of the Lord, it would seem merciless when Jerusalem was destroyed by Babylonians, by the Romans. But to the people of God, they have Him with them. The church survived beyond the destruction of Jerusalem. In fact, it spread forth to the uttermost parts of the Roman Empire and began to conquer and have great victory, although Israel languished in her destruction. For the people of God who trust in the Lord, we can be assured that He takes care of us. May the Lord strengthen His people. The Lord indeed is a righteous God, and He rules righteously. May His people turn to Him and find comfort in Him. Amen.